Hey again everyone, welcome back. 148 de Havilland Vampire F.3 Airfix. Nice enough little kit. I think I got this one in the mystery box last year. Can't remember, to be honest. It's been sitting in the stash. It comes with some cool schemes. You can see there Canada, Norway and UK, which in this case is the Royal Air Force Auxiliaries, which was something a little bit different. I think they still exist as such, essentially reserve regiments or whatever they have in the Air Force, except back in the day they actually did have reserve squadrons or auxiliary squadrons. I'm not exactly sure on the terminology there. I've also got a bit of a thing for 1950s, 60s aviation. It's one of those cool periods where there was just so much going on, and especially in Britain there was some really innovative things happening. This little Vampire, it's one of those ones probably to a degree forgotten about, but they were very common. I think they flown out here in Australia and, like you see there, Canada, Norway, everywhere. And historically in the aviation side of things, I think they were the first jet to make it across the Atlantic, so transatlantic crossing, and I have a feeling, could be wrong, let me know in the comments, I think they also had the world speed record for a while, and then maybe the F.4s come and took that away later on. Either way though, historically important plane, and definitely one of those twin boom planes, which is pretty cool. So into the build, there's no huge surprises in any Airfix kit as such. I still use my trusty little drill at times. One thing I've got into the habit, although I still mess it up occasionally, is just drill out the holes. They're easy enough to fix up. If you don't use them later, you can bog them up, not a problem. But where it can become a bit of a pain, it's always fixable, but a bit of a pain is if you do forget and you're trying to work it out later on. Just easier to drill them, and if you don't use them, you don't use them, not a big deal. Internally, there's not a lot to it, just, what would I say, the usual stuff. You can see what's happening there. There's a bit of IQ testing on my part, which I sometimes pass and sometimes fail. Interestingly, or I shouldn't say interestingly, one thing I do want to point out, and this is almost housekeeping, if you do want to get in touch with me, just post either a new comment or do it through the channel direct, because what happens, the way the comments work is I don't see a comment that's a reply to someone else. It's in there, but I'd probably have to search and all the rest of it, whereas if it's a comment by itself, it will get flagged and I can see it. So that's just one of those by the way things, because I feel bad. I think someone did try and reach out to me the other day, but I'm not quite sure where. It's just one of those things. So anyway, just keep that in mind. The other thing is, I do really like hearing from people in the comments. Even when I screw up, it's still good feedback. And over the last 18 months I've been doing this, I've actually enjoyed learning a few things through the comments as well. The intakes in this case, I'd say as a general overview of the fit of this kit, is it the best? No. To be honest, it's a little bit disappointing given that it's really quite a new kit. Some of the fit, probably say 7, 6 out of 10. It goes together, but it's not shake and bake. That's for sure. So, for example, around the intakes, which is almost a giveaway, if in that sense, intakes are one of the things that really tend to test fit, or test fit in an engineering sense is what I mean there. It'll normally give it away. So the intakes and around the nose was not great, and I'd probably say 6, 7 out of 10 on the fit with the fit on the whole. It's nice enough. There's nothing to stop you from coming up with a nice plane, but you do have to put a little bit more work into this one, I'd say. Again, just decals for the instrument panel, as I always say, doesn't bother me, especially on a smaller kit, or one that maybe doesn't have as much detail, or I'm not looking at going super detail. It doesn't bother me. Most of the time, a lot of this I'm never going to see again anyway, so just one of those things. Having said that, the decals on this, or the instrument panels, actually do come up really quite neat, as you can see there, which, yeah, even though I'm quite an advocate of it and it's just a neat quick way to get it done, yeah, for some reason, like you can see, really well done. But that's, I think, yeah, they're cartograph decals and so on. The cockpit in this, pretty bare bones sort of thing. But one thing to keep in mind is those 1950s cockpits, there wasn't a lot happening in them anyway. So when you have a look at the prototype photos, you will see that. I've come across everything here just with, I think it's 1500 Mr. Surfacer, then Tamiya flat for flesh, deep green you can see here, and silver for the helmet. That gets you 90% of the way on doing your figure. You can come back, do the straps and all the rest of it easily enough. There's just some dry brushing, if that, just to add a little bit of detail to the cockpit. The interesting thing here is that the cockpit opening is that tight that I'm probably never going to see much of the internals of this again. It's one of those ones, it's a nice cool plane, goes on the shelf, and yeah, I've done it in flight, so yeah, that doesn't mean I don't take care of the cockpit, but realistically we all know that you can spend hours and hours doing cockpits because it's fun, and I'm definitely one of those that does like doing it, but I'm also aware that a lot of the work I do I never see again. So here's one of those bits where the fit, yeah, it goes together, but you do have to put a bit of work in getting not necessarily the booms lined up, but what's happening there is where the booms go into the fuselage, there's a bit of a gap, and here around the nose, what I've tended to do on these, or a general principle or technique probably is a better way to put it, is if the fit is not great, what I tend to do is I'll glue one side, let that cure properly, and then wedge, I suppose, and pull the other side into shape. If you try and do too much at once on those type of fits, you will just struggle. But you can see there, yeah, fit not great, but that doesn't mean it's bad and you can't build it or anything. It just means you have to put a little bit more work in. So I'm doing flat aluminium, like I said, Mr. Finishing Surfacer black here. The finishing surfacer, it's one of those ones that, especially where I've been messing around, like you can see there's a bit of bog there. I think that was just Tamiya putty that was going in there. I will use a primer, which is all this is, and for metallics generally I'll use a primer because, well, the short answer there is you can get a better finish, but you will also be able to get a more polished finish. And you'll see here what I do is I go obviously pretty thin with the Mr. Surfacer, and then I'm coming back here just neat with the Mr. Leveling Thinner. This is a bit tricky in the sense that it does take a while to dry, but you can almost get a mirror finish. That'll fade as it evaporates out, so you can see there. Then depending on how pedantic you want to be, you can come back, and I think this is 2000 grit, you can go through to 4000. You can even polish it with a cloth if you really want to do that. The reason I didn't go to town on that is, especially these, what would I say, 1950s British planes were a more flat sort of aluminium, as it says on the tin, flat aluminium, rather than the super chrome sort of effect. So yeah, that was my thinking at least. Yeah, so I used to mess around a lot, getting very hung up on metallic finishes. Now I just keep it simple. Black primer and something like silver over the top. Works fine. You don't need to get too crazy with the whole thing. Yeah, one other thing I'd say is, yeah, I do like definitely the comments, and yeah, give me that and hit the like button. Really does make a big difference, because that's essentially telling YouTube that I'm not dead. Canopy, nice thing about Jet, essentially bubble canopies. It's like P47s and stuff, P51s, late models. Doing canopies is easy, but I dread bombers and things. So yeah, it's simple masking. I just use the 1mm Tamiya tape to do all the edging, come back, fill it in. So that's where it's at this point. Yeah, really quite happy with it. Little bit of work to get there. Is it perfect? No, but it's just a cool plane, nice one to put on the shelf. Using Microsol, I'm starting to use that a bit more. Yeah, I can't say anything bad about it. I use a variety of products, decals, fingers and tweezers. Nothing super sophisticated there, but interestingly, I do have decal tweezers, but I've never really, what'd I say, gotten used to them as such. The main decals on this, nice, yeah, like I say, cartograph, you're not going to have any great dramas here. Really, that's the simple answer. And it's a cool scheme. There's no two ways about that. I did pick up the Tamiya P38, so there's another twin boom in the stash. Sadly, I don't know what happened to it. I actually had the limited edition P38 that was with Mr. Tamiya's signature, and I don't know where it went. Which sounds crazy, but moving, I'm pretty sure I gave it to my son, and then he's done whatever with it. So there we are. Really nice little plane, really interesting historical plane as well. So yeah, I'd recommend the kit. If you see it around, you'll probably do a better job than me. I'm happy with it. I have been messing around over time with my 3D printer. I've made my little build stand, but what I did do with this one and some of my others is I've made some large scale stands, so it just gives me maybe a 4-inch height, so I can maybe show that in another video. Anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed that. Really nice little plane. Does need a little bit more work than some of the other ones that are out there, but yeah, I'd highly recommend it. Hope you've enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again. Don't forget to like and leave a comment, and have fun with your own models. Let me know if you build this one and what you think of it. Thanks again. Bye for now.